On Friday, we found out the news that Harry Reid, despite the fact that 2 weeks ago he was doing a fundraiser, he has decided not to run. I personally think that it is because he is unhealthy. I think, and I've said this for a while, I think he's
something's wrong with Harry Reid.
Yeah, something's wrong with him health-wise, and I wish him the best. However, if that's not the case, on Friday, Pat was out, and so we missed this.
Harry Reid retiring. This evil douche is now for hiring. Harry Reid, you've been tiring. Harry Reid's retiring.
All right.
Harry Reid's retiring.
Right.
This evil douche is now for hiring. Goodbye, Harry Reid, you've been tiring. Harry Reid's retiring. Harry Reid's retiring.
That is beautiful. You have such a lovely singing voice. You really do.
I've been developing it
and
over a long period
not a
of
lot
time,
of songs use douche.
No, and they probably should
Right.
a little bit more.
A lot of songs I've noticed too, like focus on the amount of syllables that fit the music.
Right.
But I mean, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think that's old
It's
school.
really,
It is.
it's a beautiful, and,
It is.
and it's your singing voice that really,
Accentuates it?
yeah.
I think so. It kind of brings the lyrics
So why do
to
you
life,
think that, why
if
do you think
will.
that Harry Reid is retiring?
Well, I like the speculation by a former attorney general who says that he's getting out of town ahead of the posse. There is a belief that Harry Reid is concerned that there will be a Republican president in 2016, and then he will nominate a Republican attorney general, obviously. And that Republican attorney general would then investigate his shenanigans over the last 30 years.
I have to tell you something. I am so tired. I remember Pat and I have talked about this several times because our fathers had exactly the same reaction when Nixon when he resigned. They both said he just got caught. All of them are like this. He just got caught. And both of us were about the same age, and we didn't feel that was right. As kids, we were. I remember thinking about my dad. I was thinking, that's not right. What? I mean, the president should be clean. However, and I don't know if we've ever talked about this, my dad changed his view by the time Ford came into office and he pardoned him.
Oh, yeah.
My father was pissed.
Yeah.
He said, you're a coward.
My dad voted for him twice and then was very anti-Nixon at the end.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when Ford, do you remember when Ford pardoned him?
Yeah.
What did
my gosh, it pissed off my dad.
Yeah, it pissed my dad off too. And that wasn't that, I mean, it was a resignation and then what?
Yeah.
A week later, 2 weeks later, something like that?
It was soon after.
Right. He was like, you have to go after, if he did something criminal,
right, then
you
you
have to go after him.
No special treatment.
No special treatment. And so Harry Reid, by leaving, if Harry Reid was doing something that needs to be investigated, then it should be investigated.
Oh my gosh, there's so much that Harry Reid has done that needs to be at least investigated.
Can I tell you, I was in Phoenix and I talked to this baker, and she and her husband were there, and they said, we run this little bakery, and Harry Reid came into our bakery and demanded free bread.
What?
They're like, what? We put a loaf of bread up, and he's like, what kind of discount, you're going to get? I just like this bread. And the person behind
discount?
Yeah. And the person behind the counter said, do you have a coupon or something? And he's like, no, I'm Harry Reid. I've done a lot for, this area and the state. And, just wondering if you just give me the bread. And they're like, no.
Gotta be kidding
That's
me.
what I said. I said, that can't have happened. They said, I swear to you.
He's looking for a U.S. Senator discount of zero?
He said he was so arrogant that he just assumed that he just deserved free bread.
This guy walks into places all the time, and that happens to him.
Yep.
They just give it to him. Oh, yeah.
I'll bet you that's
Especially
true.
in Washington. I bet it happens
And in Searchlight.
all the time.
I'll bet it happens all the time in Searchlight, where he lives.
Oh, my gosh.
Because he's
I would
the type
never
of,
even consider that.
No, but he's the type of guy that's what he loves about being in the Senate.
Oh.
He loves the
That's
power.
the worst.
Oh,
And this isn't like the typical thing where, like, sometimes
do you know who I am?
there are people who are loved in a community that get free stuff all the time. I mean, that happens. But the idea that this guy who's just using his power and wants to be, he likes the idea that more than the free bread, wants people to think he deserves the free bread. That's what he wants. And he probably gets it often. I mean, I'm sure they kiss his butt all the time. So he'd expect it.
Get out.
Get
So
out of my
dad would have
store.
said this.
Yep.
get out. Leave the bread and get out. No freeloaders here.
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
It obviously had an impact on him. It went to his head big time because his ideology changed over the years. His personality had to have with it.
His religion
informs everything he does. I've heard that
from him. It informs everything he does.
Yeah, because it's interesting. His faith and his positions don't seem
match
to line
at
up.
all.
It informs him to what to oppose. I don't know.
Hang on, what's my religion say? I got to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, my religion is against abortion.
I'm
gonna go ahead and help fund it.
Work on getting 100% NARAL rating this year again for the sixth straight year.
Yeah.
How do you do that? I don't even understand it. I don't get it. How do you fight for everything Obama stands for?
Because it is why our press treats religious people with Mike Pence. It's why they are coming after Mike Pence so hard and the people of Indiana, because they don't see anybody who actually goes to church and then lives it.
Yeah.
They don't see anybody like that. You live in New York. But the churches are empty. The churches are art galleries. The churches are stores. There's nothing in those churches. They're empty. They're empty. And so they don't understand people who actually live their faith. I know a lot of people who say they're Christian. I'm Christian. How many people live it?
Or even at least attempt to live it. I mean, you're Harry Reid. You're not even attempting it.
No.
You're not even attempting it. It's not even a consideration in your life. Can it be? Can it be with this set of positions? So. I don't think it's possible.
I don't think so.
Now, he might have come up with a justification to say these things work together, but he's obviously not trying that hard.
He obviously has. He thinks everybody else in the religion is wrong, and he's the one who's right. And, you've got a little complex when you believe that.
Well, you have the type of complex that would say
that you
to come in and eat free bread. Yeah, I mean, that's the type of person who does that.
Do you think there's a possibility that Harry Reid died in his sleep and St. Peter beat the snot out of him?
And then put him back in his
body.
Yes. I think
there's a possibility. That wasn't a gym accident. That was St. Peter beating the snot out of him, saying, you don't even belong in hell. Get back in your body. Possibility, you think? Slim.
Yeah, I don't know.
Slim possibility.
I said 45%.
Would that put us into the judging? Was that probably
maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Okay.
He also says it would be unfair of him to suck all the money out of the Democrat coffers for his reelection campaign. So he obviously feels like it'll be a battle to even win reelection, and I think he'd be beaten. I don't know who the Republicans have to put up.
He should have
been beaten last time, and he knows that would happen this time.
How is it the Republicans, they are so pathetic. They are so unbelievably pathetic. How is it the Republicans are under the illusion that they are a weak party? They're only a weak party because they don't stand for anything. But all those people who stand for things, all the Tea Party people, everything, they're doing fine. They're doing fine. If you put real conservatives in, they will sweep.
Yeah.
America's done. If you went with the 1955, 1940, I think it was maybe 1948, where the Republicans, their slogan was, had enough yet?
Oh, if that was the slogan?
Yeah. Have you had enough yet?
They should borrow that from 1945.
It won. Yeah. It won. It was the winning slogan. Everybody came back from the war, and they were like, we're not going back to the progressive depression. We're just not going back to that.
And if everybody would have the mentality that I'm going to vote for the most qualified person, I'm going to vote for the person I like the most. Like I had this discussion with my sister-in-law yesterday.
He can't
I was
win.
up in Montana. He can't win. That's the exact conversation I had with her. And she said, I like Ted Cruz, but he can't win. And I said, okay, that's why we lose every election, every presidential election. That is always a choice between the lesser of two evils, because this is the time you choose the best person to put up against the Democrat in the general election.
I contend Ted Cruz would clean the floor with any with any Democrat.
And so I
clean the floor.
Went through that whole thing. And if everybody would vote for the guy who's the best,
well, I just want everybody to know. That's what everybody.
I think he can't win.
That's what everybody said about Ronald Reagan in 1976.
And he didn't win in 1976.
Right, but they didn't, because they all said he couldn't win.
That's right.
He couldn't win against Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And then he got the opportunity to run and won. And there's an element of hero worship in all of this as well, as we always just talk about the president. I mean, since 2010, there have been 3 elections, two of the 3 have been Republican wave elections. I mean, I don't know why they don't think that they're this little regional party and they can't get their people to win.
Because their people,
it's ridiculous.
You know why? Because Karl Rove and Grover Norquist's people are not the Tea Party people.
No.
Oh,
they're not.
Not even close.
They're not.
No
and
question.
they're the ones pulling the strings.
Yeah.
They're the ones pulling the strings.
But I mean, it doesn't seem like the people play along with that. But Americans, especially Tea Party members and conservatives, understandably get a little bit pushed down by the media and a little depressed at what's happened. But when you look at it, it made a huge difference. We're talking about 2 wave elections. We've gone over the numbers before on Wonderful World of Stu, where it's been, I think, about 20% on average. A Senate incumbent has moved, so they've been challenged more greatly by about 20%. That's a huge move. I mean, it used to be they would run and get 95% on average. Now it's down to 60-something because most of these guys come up with real opposition from actual conservatives that either win or come close to winning. They're now on the run constantly from people who are more principled than they are. And it's getting closer and closer, and more progress has been made every single election.
It's going to get worse and worse and worse. I mean,